Hello, welcome to Small Group. My name is Obi Arellano and I'm the campus pastor at our East Aurora campus of Community Christian. Una de las cosas que tal vez no sabes es que East Aurora es el único campus que es en inglés y en español, es bilingüe.
What'd you say?
Oh, did I say that in Spanish? Oh, sorry. I just said that East Aurora is our only bilingual campus, Spanish and English.
All right. Hi, my name is John Reinheimer, and I'm the campus pastor at Montgomery. You may not know this, but Montgomery was our third campus here at Community. And the building was given to us, and the history actually dates all the way back to the Civil War.
So we're here, John and I, to welcome you to your small group of this phase of the One Initiative. We're so excited about what God is getting ready to do right here at Community. We know that God works through the power of commitment of people just like you, gathered just like this in life-giving, healthy small groups.
You know, for this series, you'll find the discussion questions both easy to understand but difficult to wrestle with. And so our encouragement to you is to take your time and to listen to each other as you're challenged with growing in generosity. Pray for each other as you're working through this booklet.
But before we move into the discussion time, Dave Ferguson, our lead pastor, will be sharing with us the vision behind the One Initiative.
Well, whether you've been a part of Community for only a year, or maybe the last 27 years, it's been by God's grace and through God's power, we have been a part of something absolutely extraordinary. And when you begin to look at the impact and then also the growth of Community, I think one of the best words to describe it is extraordinary. I want you to think of it this way. Think of Community as a family tree. It started in Naperville with a few friends, mostly from college. It branched out to Romeoville, and then another branch in Montgomery, and extended itself into the active adult community in Carillon. The family tree began to grow to Shorewood, a second location in Naperville downtown, and then a branch in East Aurora, and another branch in Yorkville, and an extension in Plainfield, and also Lamont. And then what started in the suburbs found its way into the city, in the Lincoln Square neighborhood, and most recently a branch in Lincoln Park. One church family with 12 locations, more than 15,000 people who call Community their church home. This is our family tree. But the extraordinary impact goes even beyond Chicagoland. By launching New Thing a little over a decade ago, we've helped start new and growing churches just like Community now all over the world. I mean, if we're a tree, this is like a forest of trees. What started in Chicago began to grow all across North America with now 92 churches. Then took root in Western Europe, where we have 8 churches. Reproduced into South America, where there's 17 churches. It also multiplied into Sub-Saharan Africa, where there's 86 churches. Churches just like Community started and growing now in Southeast Asia with 21 churches. All across Eurasia with 43 churches. A family tree that has reproduced 267 churches globally with more than 750,000 people as a part of this movement of helping people find their way back to God. This mission, just so you know, it's not just about big, and it's not just about numbers. What it's about is about people, helping people find their way back to God. So let me remind you, we live in a world that as often is far less than ordinary, a world that endures painful images without easy answers. We live in a world full of fear, a world full of terror. We also live in a world where hatred and evil have actually entered into our own very sanctuaries. And this is not at all how God meant for the world to be. But here we are, we're God's people, and we have the opportunity to bring change, extraordinary change into a painful, fearful, often evil world. And we can change the lives of kids and students, adults, and whole families. We can transform schools and neighborhoods and communities. God has put within us this extraordinary hope that the whole world's looking for. And if you look closely at the fruit from the past that Community has borne, you see extraordinary possibilities for the future. I think what God did is He took something, well, very ordinary. Me, you, us, and He did something absolutely extraordinary. And here's the exciting news. I believe God is giving us the opportunity to once again do something extraordinary. And we're calling this initiative One. One is a 2-year initiative, and we're projecting a budget over the next 2 years of around $18 million. But we want to raise an additional $8 million more. So at the end of this 2-year initiative, we're asking God to give us the opportunity to steward $26 million for His mission. And we're simply calling this 2-year initiative One. Now, the whole vision of One is based on Acts chapter 4, verse 32 to 35.
All the believers were one in heart and mind. No one
claimed that any of their possessions was their own. But they shared
everything they had. With great power.
With great power, the apostles continued to testify to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus.
And God's grace was so powerfully at work in them all.
That there were no needy persons among them.
For from time to time, those who owned land or houses sold them,
brought the money from the sales and put it at the apostles' feet.
And it was distributed to anyone who had need.
At the end of this One initiative, when the 2 years is over, how do we see God working through us? I think it's a great question. Well, you can break this down into 3 different categories. Reach. We're reaching people far from God. And then restore. We're restoring God's dream to this world, bringing justice where there's injustice, righting the wrongs in this world. And then reproduce, starting brand new campuses, brand new churches, both locally and globally. Let's start with the first one, reach.
Every week, Community has about 4,000 adults, 1,000 students, and 1,000 kids that we are reaching every week. People we are helping find their way back to God. And I believe that we will see that increase easily by 1,000 to 2,000 or more. How? The Plainfield and Shorewood campus will combine and move into a terrific 92,000 square foot facility. Opening in the fall of 2016, this facility is strategically located in the heart of Plainfield and will include a 900-seat auditorium for celebration services, concerts, and community events. 27,000 square feet of dedicated student and children's ministry space, and 42,000 square feet of recreational space, including an indoor soccer field, basketball and volleyball courts, and a walking track that will be available for the entire community. The opening of the new Plainfield facility will result in hundreds and eventually thousands of people finding their way back to God in the next decade, and we believe it will position Community to provide significant people and financial resources to launch more campuses and churches.
Additionally, we will invest in Naperville's Yellow Box campus, which has been a catalyst for reproducing campuses and churches all over the world. Through the One initiative, Community will have the opportunity to continue that trajectory at an even greater pace by retiring debt, which will allow us to increase our investment reaching, restoring, and reproducing new churches and campuses.
Just 4 years ago, Community launched the Chicago Network, and as a result, hundreds of people now belong to 2 community campuses in both Lincoln Square and Lincoln Park, Old Town. And by investing in our Chicago campuses, we will increase our outreach efforts and make a strategic investment in a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week facility for our Lincoln Park Old Town campus. This will give them much-needed visibility and permanency.
Lastly, over the past few years, the Yorkville campus has seen rapid growth in their kids and student ministries. In fact, the Yorkville campus has the highest percentage of kids and students of any community location. This has resulted in the need to build out and reconfigure the existing 5,000 square feet of available space we currently own to welcome even more kids and families. Just our efforts under Reach will allow us to help 1,000 to 2,000 and maybe even more people find their way back to God.
The second part of the initiative is Restore. Community will continue to bring restoration to neighborhoods and communities both locally and globally through Community 412, Compassion International, the Philippines Frontline Ministries, Benevolence, Gift Mart, Global Missions, Celebration Generosity, and our individual Campus Restore ministries.
Additionally, we want to make an investment in our Romeoville campus that'll expand the outreach of our Children and Arts Center. This will significantly increase our ability to impact the hundreds of families that have children in the surrounding neighborhoods. Our plan is to complete construction in the lower level of the Children and Arts Center, transforming it into a space for our Kid City ministry and expanding the weekday programming. And finally, we seek to reproduce in this initiative.
Community will continue our aggressive generosity towards reproducing new churches and campuses. By continuing to support New Thing and expanding our Leadership Training Center, we will be able to launch 10 new churches, some locally and some globally. One will give us the opportunity to launch 2 new campuses in the next couple of years, starting with the Downers Grove campus in 2017, which we are very excited about. I believe these new churches and campuses alone will allow us to reach thousands of people who are far from God and help restore God's dream for the world.
Now, some of you may be thinking, wow, this is great, but it doesn't look like my campus is getting a whole lot from this initiative. I get that. There have been times when I felt that way. In some ways, I'd say over the last 6 years. I helped put 2 kids through college, and they had a great time, and I think they got a lot out of it. Me, and I got 4 more years coming up with my youngest one, too. But our whole family made that sacrifice for my kids to go to college. And them going to college is something our family wants. And not just for them, but really for all of us. And we kind of see that as a family win. Let me tell you a story. I was recently in Southern California with several other church leaders, some that led large organizations, others that led churches. And we were all talking about what was it that prevented the church today from doing extraordinary things like we see in the first century church. Well, one of the leaders there is a friend of mine named Ryan Kwan. Ryan leads a great church out in Fremont, California, as a second-generation Korean American. And Ryan said something that really stuck with me. He said this, he said, I think the problem is something deep, very much within most churches and probably most people. And you could feel everybody kind of lean in. And Ryan went on and told a story. He said, even before my dad became a believer, he taught me the value of the family win. In our family, if the family didn't win, nobody won. It was always about the family win. No one person was greater than the family win. And he went on and he said, when my dad immigrated to the United States from Korea, despite having a good job and being very well educated, when he got here, he took a job as a maintenance guy at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. My dad would clean bathrooms. He cleaned up other people's urine. Why? The family win. So my sister and so I could have a better life, a better education. Our families, our grandkids could win. Ryan explained. He said even later on growing up, when I was asked to do chores around the house and I would complain about it, my dad would say, it's about the family win. And he went on and he told story after story after story of the family win. And his refrain was, I grew up knowing if the whole family didn't win, then I didn't win. And there was no win outside of the family win. Well, Ryan finished the story and continued. He said, I think the American church has been too much about my church and my building and my programs and my win. And then he quoted Ephesians 2:19 that says, so you're no longer strangers, you're no longer outsiders, you're citizens together with God's people. You are members of, what's it say there? God's family. See, the church is a family. It's not just my campus or my building or my program or really my anything. And it's all about the family win. And it really hit me. The kinds of churches that do extraordinary things are those who think about the family win, who think about God's kingdom. So wherever you are listening to my voice, whether you're Naperville Yellow Box or Romeoville, Montgomery, Carillon, or Shorewood, Naperville Downtown, East Aurora, Yorkville, in Plainfield or Lamont, Lincoln Square or Lincoln Park, we are one family, one heart, one mind, one family who exists for the family win. And what God is doing, He's given us the opportunity to do extraordinary things in us and through us once again. Maybe you came and you kind of are feeling pretty ordinary. I believe that God wants to use us as one church with one mission to do something extraordinary. So, across all community campuses, let's join together, asking God to do something extraordinary both in us and through us during this one initiative.
Thanks, Dave, for sharing such a compelling vision.
Now it's time to walk through the guide with your group. And as you do so, be sure to stay in contact with us through the community Facebook page or by going to communitychristian.org/1.